Welcome back, folks. I got a pretty cool one for you here today. I'm going to show you how you can run an auxiliary fuel tank with your small portable generator so you can get a longer runtime out of it without having to get up in the middle of the night and put gas in it. Maxpeedingrods has came out with this little electric fuel pump that goes on top of the generator and pumps from the gas tank whenever it needs it. It's not a continuous thing. There's a float that controls the pump. It screws on in place of the fuel cap on pretty much any of the import generators that have plastic tank threads. It's sold by Maxpeedingrods, but it can work on quite a few of the other import generators. For example, I have a GenMax generator that this will work on. I've got a Harbor Freight Predator generator that this will work on, but it has to be plastic threads. It can't be a metal tank with metal threads and a metal cap. So you take the cap off, and then you stick your fingers and you have to take out the little filter screen, get that out of there because that'll be in the way. And then the fuel pump just threads right on to where the fuel cap was. Make it snug. And then, now this pump does require electricity for when the pump turns itself on. It doesn't need constant electricity. It only needs it when the pump is running. And the pump turns on and off based on a float. It senses the fuel level in the tank, and when it gets low enough, the pump turns on, and it fills the tank back up, and then the float shuts the pump back off. You might say, well, where am I going to get 12 volts for this? Well, the kit comes with 2 power cords. It comes with a power cord like you can see here that has a cigarette lighter adapter or a power port plug on it, which I'm using just a 12-volt power supply for this demonstration. And do I recommend running your power supply on top of your fuel tank? No, but this is just for demonstration purposes. But it comes with that cable, and it also comes with a power cable that has alligator clamps on it. One end can hook to a battery or a 12-volt power source, and the other end hooks right to the pigtail of the pump there. So for this demonstration purposes, I'm just going to be running this cable plugged into a cigarette lighter on my 12-volt power supply. And the cable just plugs together like that. This is designed to work with a boat tank. So it's got this style of connector. Now, the fuel pump kit does come with this hose. It's got a primer bulb and the other end that connects to the pump. Now, I bought this fuel tank separate. This is just a generic boat tank that's got this style connector on it. And the hose from the fuel pump kit went right onto the fuel tank. And the other end of the hose will connect up here to the fuel pump. Take this rubber cap off. Stick the fuel pump hose on there. You got to get it on the right orientation. Try not to block your view. That's snapped on. There's the release lever right here. Then there's this primer bulb here. You see there's an arrow here, and the arrow needs to point to the hose that's going to the generator. The other end of it is the hose going to the fuel tank. You need the hose pointing towards the generator, and then you can squeeze it, and it should prime the fuel. Okay, you need to prime this thing. If it's a dry, brand new hose like this setup is, you're going to have to squeeze this and prime it a few times until the bulb gets somewhat stiff and you can hear the fuel filling up this tube. So now in order to demonstrate this, I've got the fuel level in the generator is basically empty. And when I turn on this power switch, the float in this is going to be all the way down because there's no fuel in it. And so this thing, I'm probably going to have to turn the power switch on the pump itself, but it might start pumping as soon as I turn the power on. Now, this is just for demonstration purposes. So imagine you're at a campground somewhere and you've got this configured like this, but instead of a power supply, you've got that other battery cable run over to a 12-volt battery in your RV or your camper or whatever. and your generator's running away, just no problem, and the fuel level is getting low. And this float's going to go down. It's going to turn on because there's constant power. It's going to turn on and pump fuel from this red tank into the generator's gas tank. And then as soon as it gets full, the pump will shut off and the generator will continue to run. Now, in order for that to happen, you have to make sure that the vent is open on the boat tank. I had a friend of mine buy one of these fuel pumps last summer when they first came out, and I said, how does it work? And he says, oh, it's terrible. It doesn't work at all. The generator keeps dying. And then I found out, he said, it was my fault because I didn't have the vent open. And he said, after that, the thing is awesome. He loves it. It's one of the best things he ever bought. So let's give this a try. Because this is low on fuel, it should start pumping when it gets power. So now it has power. I'll turn the switch on over here. And I'll put my microphone. Notice the green light on the fuel pump is constant on. That means it's pumping. And when it's in standby mode, not pumping, but has power, it'll flash green. And you can hear it pumping fuel right now. I've got the microphone really close to it, as you can see. It's not very loud at all in real life. I don't know what it sounds like on video, but it's just a light ticking noise in the background is all I hear at, arm's length. Now, like I said, this fuel tank in the generator was basically empty, and it only holds just over a half a gallon. So, now this is real time. There's no chop edits here. We'll see how long it takes to pump 6/10 of a gallon. There it is. Now notice the light on the fuel pump is flashing green. That means it's in standby mode. Put the microphone back here. There's one other mode on this fuel pump that has a red light, and that means there's a problem. According to the owner's manual, there's also a mode built into this to where if the pump runs for 10 minutes continuous and doesn't shut off because there's a problem or your other tank over here is out of fuel or whatever the case may be, this thing shuts itself off after 10 minutes. And it's a self-protection mode. So this thing is pretty sweet. I know years ago, the people with the Honda generators, kind of before a lot of these import generators were first coming out, the Honda guys had these plastic threads, and they were doing an aluminum gas cap that had a hose port to it, and it required a perfect seal, and then it never worked right. This pump solved that problem. But for those who need generators that run overnight for CPAP machines or whatever the case may be, the problem with these little travel generators is they don't have a big enough fuel tank to make it overnight. And now here's your solution. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.